How's it going, everybody? Kevin Davey here with Entertaining Entropy. Today's episode is super exciting, but if you like what you see here, make sure you subscribe to catch more episodes. Check out my other episodes here on my channel, and leave me some questions and comments below on maybe some other things that you'd like to see. So today, super excited to bring you some updates and some information on an app that I use called VeVe for trading NFTs, non-fungible tokens. And this is really a way for me to make more money and passively gain some interest on some things that are happening in our world today. So mostly just wanted to bring you some updates, but also wanted to add in some tips and tricks at the end of the video, so make sure you stay tuned for that. So getting into it, wanted to start off with a quick recap of what VeVe and NFTs are. So starting at the top, NFT is a non-fungible token, really a way for me to own a digital asset in a way that's against the blockchain, where a public audience is able to verify my ownership of that digital asset and not just a JPEG or a picture that I could copy over and over again. For those digital assets, I'm able to trade, own, and collect them on an application called VeVe. Just happens to be one of my favorites. And VeVe is one that allows me to not only view those, but also sell them to individuals that might have interest. They have routine drops where they're releasing more of these NFTs. And they're partnered with all these really big names. So here's some of the bigger ones in the later video of who they've recently partnered with, but they've also partnered with Marvel, Cartoon Network, Adventure Time, and some of these other big names that everyone already probably knows. So getting into the updates, the biggest thing that I wanted to talk about, and probably the thing I'm most excited about for obvious reasons, is that on October 14th, VeVe actually tweeted that they are going to be starting work on a public beta where you can actually withdraw gems. So by being able to withdraw gems, we can finally gain all this value and all this invested time of what we put into VeVe. Myself, I have a couple thousand that I've just been dying to withdraw, so really excited. But the other side of the coin of that is there's going to be a reaction from the market. So I'm not really sure if it's going to make prices skyrocket or if it's going to make them drop down. Could be a quick, immediate reaction with a long-term reaction, of course. My knee-jerk reaction is that it's probably going to make prices drop, where people might try to liquidate all their assets and get money out of VeVe, as they've been just sitting on these things for a long time, not really with any value. But it could also cause people to say, well, it's easy for me to put money into this system. Now I can very quickly buy things that I've been looking at with the ease of being able to take it out at any point. So really no risk in that investment as it has been today. The second biggest news that I wanted to bring up today is that VeVe is now partnered with two big names, the biggest one being with Disney, but they've also partnered with the United States Postal Service to release all these new collectibles and make things really exciting. Really, the other thing that they're doing is pulling a lot of new eyes and traffic folks to the VeVe app, which is going to start to drive up the prices of all the NFTs that you and I may own, and all the prices of all the future NFTs that are released. When Disney is releasing their NFTs, at least the first one that they did on the week of the Disney Plus release, they were actually, Disney Plus Day release, they were actually releasing Disney Plus with the NFTs. So you could actually get 3 months, or some would have 12 months of Disney Plus that was included with the NFT for the first person that got that NFT off of the drop. Super cool, because they're changing the way that NFTs are being handled. Immediate value right out of that NFT is shown right there, and they're really just changing the game of what could be included in an NFT drop. There was a lot of distrust with Disney after these drops because folks were finding that it was really hard to get into the app was crashing. Even if you could get in and be at that screen, which I was getting in maybe an hour or half an hour before the drop actually happened, and I was just waiting there. Folks were even seeing error messages and issues with the screen right there that they'd never seen before. So a lot of mistrust from the Disney drops, and they did have a lot of people that had a lot of problems with it. I was only able to get one. It was really difficult to get those actual drops. And the reaction with the OMI crypto, which is actually the underlying cryptocurrency behind the VeVe app, was not good, and a severe negative reaction from that. So hopefully they bounce back, especially with all these eyes now and all this traffic to the app from these new partners. And really with that traffic, they are bringing a lot of eyes, and they're upgrading their systems to really try to make it work for all these people that have been added to the system. Another thing that is cool is the United States Postal Service did the first drop of an NFT that's a stamp, which is the first time a stamp has ever been made into an NFT. It also happened to be on the Day of the Dead, so it was a Day of the Dead themed NFT stamp from the United States Postal Service. Never would have guessed. Kind of weird, right? I ended up grabbing one, whatever. I'm into it. So I ended up grabbing a rare one. So I'm going to sit on that one. It was only 6 gems, so really feel like it can't lose too bad. It's already up to somewhere up 140 or somewhere around there. And so I think I'm going to sit on that particular one for a while. Another cool thing that happened is Designercon, which is a convention that happened, which was the first time that VeVe was ever visible in the public eye, in a public space, really, where they could actually approach fans, spin up some more interest. And so during that time, which was, I believe, 3 days, Friday through Saturday and Sunday, they were doing 7 drops or so per day, and somewhere around 15 collectibles per day, so multiple collectibles per drop. This left a lot of eyes and a lot of people wanting more VeVe, and a lot of people brought to the app because of this Designercon. So just layer that on top of the United States Postal Service and the Disney traffic that was already brought in here, and you're just getting tons and tons more people flocking to the app recently. This Designercon also was very difficult to get any of those collectibles because there were very few that were being released. I only ended up getting a few and really didn't make much money off of them anyway. Another thing that I've noticed is there hasn't been really any thrilling comics that have been released, although tomorrow there's going to be a comic release that is probably the only one of somebody that I recognize, where Dr. Doom is going to be included for the first time in a comic issue on VeVe. And with that, really just hoping to see a lot of progress of different comics and more interesting comics that are put in on top of that, because some of them have been kind of boring. Another thing that I got as an insider tip is that somebody thinks that this Dr. Doom is probably a premonition to what may happen, because they're thinking that they're going to release the functionality to withdraw gems promptly after this. And maybe this is just a foreshadowing of that. Another cool thing that I noticed recently happening with VeVe is that they've totally revamped the marketplace, more specifically for comics, so you can actually see the individual comics and the little colors that represent the different covers, the rarities of them, common through secret rare. Really cool because it makes it easy, as it was a really cluttered space to try to go through the market and capture or look for specific comics, where it was before just a single container with everything all combined. Now it's actually easy to parse through and find the comic that I want. Assuming that as they continue to grow, they're going to add more ways to parse through that. I hope they add some kind of search functionality. Another thing that was new in VeVe recently is they upped the number of comics that were released and a drop. The last one that I saw with the Green Goblin was actually 70,000 comics, 70,000 issues that were released, which is normally 30,000, so way more than they had. Did tend to have a negative effect on the price, but not something that I really care about when you're still making a profit, and easier to get those comics when sometimes you didn't get it with the lower drop rates. Also wanted to include some tips and tricks into this video, so some things to just try to add some value to your VeVe and your trading and collecting. So the first thing that I noticed is you can actually line up the buy now button and the arrow button, so that when a countdown is happening, you can actually start to spam that button, and the pop-up that comes up with the error message could actually be lined up exactly with the buy now button, so that you can just hit that continuously, making it really easy to hit that quickly. Another really cool trick that I found is you can actually clear the cache and the data that's in VeVe, the application itself, on your phone, to allow yourself a little bit of a quicker response rate from the application, clearing some of the data that it's trying to load as it's progressing and using the app. Another really easy but seemingly obvious thing that I always like to do is set alarms. So setting an alarm at 10:57 every day is going to make sure that even if I forget that a drop has happened, I'm looking at my application and I'm ready to hit the buy now button at the moment that I'm able to. Another cool thing that I found is an application called Quick Touch, which is a way that you can spam clicks on your screen in different manners at different rates. I personally don't think I'll be using this one because I'm not sure if it violates the terms and conditions of VeVe. I've heard others that have had some good luck with it. Maybe this is what those botters and those folks are using that are clicking that buy now button so quickly. I personally won't be using it because I don't want to get my account frozen. But if you find it of any interest there, the Quick Touch app is a neat one to check out. Another tip that I wanted to mention is the app can take forever to deliver your comics, so make sure that you're checking routinely to see if your comic's been delivered and if the market is up yet. One thing that you can do to help is actually force quit the application, to actually force it to retrieve fresh data and make sure that what you're looking at is legitimate and that you're not looking at an old past screen when your comic may be waiting for you and you could actually be selling it. I saw this as a big issue with the Spider-Man and the Green Goblin issues. It caused a lot of folks a headache when it took 5 or 6 hours for the comic to release, and the market prices were at their all-time high initially, and then they just started to plummet and people still hadn't gotten their things delivered yet. You want to check for deliveries as much as possible. Obviously, you can't be doing it every moment. But when you do get that delivery, decide to hold it or sell it immediately. You may have gotten it late in the game and things have already dropped in price, and by this point, you may just, well, hold on to it to see if it goes up. or if you get it early in the game, just sell it immediately and don't try to, hesitate or think any differently, because waiting is going to cause the price to drop, and it moves really quickly when it first opens up. Hope you found today's video interesting. If you did, again, hit that subscribe button, like my video, leave me a comment if you wanted to talk or if you wanted to just say hello. And if you wanted to check out next week's video, I'll be coming at you with some more useful information. Thanks so much. Have a great day.